Well, Monday out here at the Beetle Barn. Nice sunny day. Yeah, pretty nice day. Anyway, I'm back here playing with this truck, GMC. And yeah, when I was rebuilding the carb way back, this I don't know if you can see that guy. Down in here is the little choke arm. Anyway, then this arm here is the choke slash fast idle, I think, originally. Originally, this little choke guy somehow was attached to this mechanism. Anyway, little choke guy's busted off. So I have no choke. In order to start this thing, I have to get out here and take the air cleaner off and choke it manually and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it's very freed up now. And I need to figure out a way to have a choke so I don't have to pull the air cleaner off every time and do it. So I kind of have a plan, and I'm going to get started on that and show you what I'm doing as I go. I dug through the pile of carcasses and came up with this. It's an old, I think it's a 28 pick 2 Solex, and anyway, I have an idea. I'm probably not ever going to use it. It's, you can see, been around. Anyway, it was in the pile of bits. But I need a part off of it to use to repair this thing. Wish I could get in there and see what we're looking at exactly. Maybe if I do that. Okay. It's this little guy right back here. The top of it's busted off, whatever extended up here, and probably hooked into this fast throttle business. Anyway, I'm going to make it separate, so I have a separate choke lever on this truck. So I'll have my choke lever and my fast, my throttle positioner separate. I used to have a 52 International school bus that had a throttle positioner, and that was basically my cruise control on the freeway. I just yanked that thing all the way out and sit there and drive the bastard. But anyway, yeah, I need this piece right here, and then I'll modify it. It holds a barrel nut. Whoops. A barrel nut goes right in here, and I have a bunch of those barrel nuts. Then I can hook my cable in there. That way the cable is allowed to, pivot in this guy here. So I want to take this piece off and do a little shaping to it, and I think I can use this piece to repair the piece on the GMC. Well, it's been determined that to get the travel I need out of this little guy here, I'm going to have to get rid of this ear off of this fast or this throttle advance cable. Get rid of this 90 here. It's in the way of my new cable to pull this guy forward like it needs to be. It's right where it's got to be. So I just kind of tape the top of the carb up, keep goobers out, threw the valve covers back on briefly, and I'll just take my cutting wheel and cut it off right here. Okay, we got rid of that little ear here, so now I'll have free throw on my little choke guy here. So the next step is to go ahead and take this choke rod out. Ruben told me don't do that, but sorry Ruben, I'm going to give it a shot, and hopefully down inside here you can see we got these itty bitty little screws that hold this plate. What I've done is I shoved a little rag down in below here so that when I close that, it'll hopefully help hold it shut. So if I drop those screws, I'll be able to get them out. They do not look like they're iron, so magnet's not going to be an option, so I cannot lose those little bastards. But I'm going to go ahead and take those screws off. Got to take this guy off here and flop him out of the way, and then I'll be able to extract this rod so I can go ahead and weld my new piece on here. Alright, well here it is. This is the guy, and you can see there where it's broken off. And anyway, I'm going to clean that up so it's good and flat, and then weld on my other arm, and I'll have a place to hook a cable up. So yeah, anyway, the little plate drops down in that slot, and the screws go through and are threaded on the back side of this rod to hold that plate in place. So screws are substantial enough that once I get everything lined up, I'll be able to get them in and started with my fingertips. So I do not think I'm going to drop them. Yeah, they're right here, these little guys right here, and the plate is laying right there, and you see it slides down in, and there's a couple of actually little raised places here that it'll dead end on the bar. It won't flop all the way through, so I'll clean that little guy up before I put it back as well. Well, it turns out the rod on this choke thing is non-ferrous. I checked it with a magnet before I started doing this. The little piece that was on the end, in fact, you know, was steel, iron, whatever. So anyway, I welded around it. It was just swaged onto the end of this rod. All this black crap is actually just masking tape that's burnt. I went ahead and wrapped the shaft of this with masking tape to keep any sparks off it, because I think it's aluminum or something. Anyway, so I gotta clean that goober off there, maybe some Scotch-Brite or something. But right now I'm gonna go ahead and flat off my weld business here around it, and cut this other ear off that I don't need, and we'll stick it back on the carb and see how it worked out. Well, yeah, here's what I got. Yeah. Anyway, I will put it in. This thing was swaged onto the other one. There's a tiny bit of little bit of looseness between the rod and this stuff. And I think what I'll do before I mount it all in there is go ahead and clean this end up, which turned kind of a yellow color. That isn't rust. I don't know what that is, but when I welded, this rod kind of turned yellow. I don't know what the heck. But anyway, I'll clean all that up in there and fill that little void up in there with some JB. I'm a JB fan. Anyway, that'll hold any extra looseness. It's not coming off by any means. It's, you know, it's on there real good, but just you know, I always overbuild. So go ahead and set you here on the radiator. See if we can do that, and try not to knock you down. Move this stuff out of the way, and then put the rod back through. And in normal not choke position, we'll be right here. And then to choke it, we're going to run right on down this way. And that's at least full choke there, so it may not even go that far. It may only go to here or something. And that would be non-choke there. So anyway, I got all that, and it fits in between here. When this all gets bolted back up, I still have clearance here, so that'll work out good. So it's got this there we go, little clamp affair here. It's a little piece of metal on top with a kind of a half moon in it with a screw. Well, I just happen to have some of these that are double, so you'll have a half moon here and a half moon on the other side. So I'll bring my choke cable right in next to it, and it'll be able to come right up here onto the place, and then I can feed it right down through the same big rubber grommet. And what I'm going to use for a choke cable, being as I'm in the Volkswagen theme here, is this guy here. Let's see if we can see it. It's you know, a little tiny wire at the end. It's actually the retard on your injector pump when you're starting them up cold, diesel, of course. And it just happens that this bracket, there are 2 holes on the bottom of the dash underneath that just happen to line up with these, and those holes in the dash are threaded. So it was meant to be. So I'll go ahead and mount this guy down under the dash and call it my choke. Well, I'm calling it quits for tonight. I got my choke lever mounted here, right next to my oil pressure and my charge gauges there. Yeah, anyway, so that'll work good. That'll be a choke lever. The high idle thing here is over there, but they'll be independent. And yeah, it's really dark, and I think it's time for some food. So I'm going to abandon this business for tonight, put things away. But got my cable fed through, and it's flapping in the breeze here. I will have to route it down, and I'm going to end up having to make a bracket actually down off of the lower mounting bolt down there on the carburetor, on the back of the carburetor, so my cable can come upwards. It needs to, in fact, to work my lever right, work more of up and down than this other cable, so I can't put it side by side by the other cable. I'll have to make another bracket and have it come up and down. You can see the action here. It's more of an up and down action, so I don't think it'll pull correctly off of there. Anyway, another time, cut my cable to length. But for tonight, that's the end of that. Saturday the 16th out here, and the tree guy Jeremiah's left, and I got a big mess to clean up, but I don't feel like it right now, so it's going to take several days anyway. I have to put a chainsaw together to use. But anyway, got to build a bracket down here on the back of this for this choke cable business I was working on last week. And then I can, it'll be easier to start this thing. And so I'm fixing to build a little bracket and clamp of some sort, and I'll cut my cable down to the length I need. And yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. Yeah, the cable bracket that I'm going to build here, probably take it off the rear corner of the carb here. Off the stud, and it doesn't have to be real substantial, because you can see my choke works very well and actually will, you know, flop closed on its own, so there's no resistance there. And then my cable itself pulls in and out really freely, so it doesn't have to be really super substantial, just to keep it in the position that I need so I can go ahead and run this choke. So I'm going to dig through the pile and find a chunk of metal that'll do it for me. Sunday out here, and I never finished my bracket business up yesterday. I got sidetracked for that choke cable. So here's the original fast idle / choke cable bracket, and what I've done is I fashioned another bracket to go underneath it. The cable for the choke that I'm going to use comes up at a steeper angle. So anyway, this one here, you can see, well, I got the shape here, same shape on the both. So one will fit on top of the other there up on the corner of the carb, and the screw will hold them down there. The screw's plenty long enough, and then you can see the different angle I got going on here for the two. And I built a little clamp type bracket that's got a nut welded on it to clamp my cable in place underneath. The other cable will run underneath and then upward towards the choke here, a little step out where the cable comes by. But on the bottom of it I have a loop here to hold the cable straight, and then my clamp will clamp right up in here. So you can see that. So the cable will come through and then get clamped up here on the end and run up to my new choke lever I welded on that arm up there. So right now I've got to cut the choke cable off, the cable I'm using, which is an old retard cable from an injector pump on a Rabbit. So it's way too long for my application. Alright, cut this thing. I'm just going to use the standard cutoff wheel. What I've done is I've pulled the cable, the actual wire inside, way out of the way of where I'm going to cut this. It's coming through the wall there, and I want it in just about that position. So I'm figuring I'll just cut it off, I don't know, give or take about here. And then I'll be able to push my wire back through. So let me get my glasses on here. Here we go. Alright, so that's off. And we'll see how the cut look. Okay, it's fair. Go ahead and make it a little straighter there. Alright, that looks pretty good. And I'll push my wire back through. Make sure it comes through and slides real easy. There's actually like a nylon sheath in the center, then it's got the metal spring around it, and then another plastic or whatever coating on the outside. For the ease of putting this cable on, I went ahead and put it on here on this bracket already, and then I'll be able to put it on the carburetor there. I have not pushed the wire through yet. I'm just confident that it's going to work fine, so I'm not going to worry about it. But you can see the curve that's here to get the angle, and that'll help hold that cable in place when I push it back down. And this bracket here will go right on the corner, just like that. And then if I got my angle right, it should meet up. Oh, maybe. Actually, it's not looking like I got the right angle there. I can't tell. I'm not tall enough to see over the top of this truck. Do a little climbing here. There we go. Take a look at what I got. And when I line the hole up there, okay, I'm a little bit off here, so what I'm going to have to do is put a little notch right in the corner here, so the cable can extend this direction just a skosh. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so I got all this stuff installed. Here is the fast idle throttle positioner. That's the factory deal. It's supposed to run the choke, but it no longer does. The little ear on the carb was broken. So anyway, what I've installed here is this guy next to the gauges. And this is a retard from a Rabbit injector pump. There we go, choked, back to normal, and then choke. And anyway, so that's how the old GMC is going to look now. And yeah, go out, I'll set you up outside and you can see how it looks from out there. Well, hopefully this will stay there. I kind of got this thing wedged in there, but take a look here at my throttle cable first. This is my fast idle slash throttle cable, and it should still work as usual. I haven't checked myself. There's that, and then we have the choke. So there's my manual choke now. I think it's to make this thing a whole bunch easier to start when it's time. So there you go, the choke cable. So I'm going to call it good, and I got stuff to do here other than this, so I'm going to button this all together here and call it. Thanks for watching the choke cable business.